Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the guest lecture of the Agricultural and Biosystems Engineering Universitas Gadjah Mada. This guest lecture with the title of Chocolate Industry in Thailand and Malaysia. And first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Ignatius Jovanteo, student from Agricultural and Biosystem Engineering Universitas Gadjah Mada, will be today's event MC. This event is a part of weekly series of workshops that are held twice a week to be a part of implementation of independent campus competition program with agricultural and biosystems engineering partners. Therefore, we will get to know more about agricultural technology and gaining various benefits. So don't miss out on participating in every series of this workshop. Now, sebelum memulai rangkaian acara kuliah tamu ini, izinkan saya untuk menyampaikan beberapa tata tertib yang harus dipatuhi sepanjang kegiatan ini berlangsung. Yang pertama, peserta diwajibkan hadir 10 menit sebelum acara dimulai, yakni pukul 12:50 WIB. Kedua, peserta wajib menggunakan format penamaan instansi _ nama lengkap. Untuk mengubah format penamaan tersebut, Anda dapat menekan tombol di pojok kanan atas pada participant list, kemudian tekan more, lalu tekan rename, dan isikan sesuai format yang diinginkan. Ketiga, peserta diharapkan menggunakan virtual background yang telah disediakan oleh panitia selama sesi workshop berlangsung. Virtual background tersebut dapat diakses melalui link yang akan disampaikan oleh panitia melalui kolom chat room atau pada link yang sudah dibagikan pada grup WhatsApp. Keempat, peserta diharapkan untuk mengaktifkan video selama sesi workshop berlangsung. Kelima, peserta wajib menonaktifkan suara selama sesi workshop berlangsung, kecuali memperoleh izin dari moderator atau panitia PKKM. Keenam, peserta yang mengalami kendala selama kegiatan berlangsung dapat menghubungi panitia melalui private chat. Ketujuh, peserta diharapkan berpakaian dan berperilaku sopan selama sesi workshop. Kedelapan, peserta dapat menyampaikan pertanyaan melalui kolom chat atau secara langsung melalui mikrofon setelah dipersilahkan oleh moderator. Kesembilan, dimohon bagi para peserta untuk dapat mengisi presensi kehadiran melalui tautan yang akan disediakan ketika sesi berlangsung. Dan yang terakhir, informasi seri selanjutnya workshop PKKM dapat dilihat pada akun Instagram kami, yakni @tpb.ugm. Sekali lagi, atas akun Instagram kami @tpb.ugm serta akun Facebook ataupun Twitter @tpbugm. Diharapkan seluruh peserta mematuhi tata tertib yang ada supaya kuliah tamu dapat berjalan dengan lancar. Baik, and in this afternoon we will discuss together with Professor Dr. Rosnah Shamsudin from Universiti Putra, Malaysia with the topic of cocoa production in Malaysia, and Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa from Rajamangala University of Technology with the topic of cluster management to increase Thailand's cocoa business productivity. We will start this discussion with our moderator. He is Mr. Makbul Hajad, STP M.Eng, Ph.D. that will be introduced from this curriculum vitae. Mr. Makbul Hajad has Bachelor Study in Teknik Pertanian Universitas Gadjah Mada, Master Study in Manufacturing System and Mechanical Engineering SIIT Tamsat University, and Doctoral Program in Industrial and Manufacturing Systems Engineering King Mongkut's University of Technology, Thonburi. Without a further ado, let me present Mr. Makbul Hajad.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Jovan, for the stage. Well, hello everyone. I wish you all are still excited to join our guest lecture session. This is a serious international guest lecture held by our Department of Agriculture and Biosystem Engineering as a part of PKKM program or program Kompetisi Kampus Merdeka under management of Directorate General of Higher Education, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology Indonesia. And well, this is the fourth international guest lecture series. And in the next coming week, we will have some interesting international guest lecture topic. You may refer to our social media to get more information about this agenda, or at TPB or our YouTube channel, Teknik, Pertanian and Biosistem UGM. Well, today we will continue to learn the topic related to cocoa and chocolate industry. And then here we go. Let me introduce to you our speaker for this afternoon guest lecture. The first guest lecture is from University Putra, Malaysia, Professor Rosnah Shamsudin. Hello, Professor Rosnah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Nice to meet you again, Professor Rosnah. I hope you and family are in good health there in Malaysia. Okay, and our second guest lecture is from Rajamangala University of Technology, Isan, or LMUTI, Thailand. He is Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa. Okay, maybe he will join us later because we will still wait for the update from Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa. Okay, for your information, first session will be a lecture session. You will be given 40 minutes to deliver the lecture, and we will start with Prof. Rosnah first, and then continue with Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa. And the next is the question answer session about the topic. Okay, first we will be hearing a lecture from Prof. Rosnah first about the chocolate industry in Thailand. But before going so far, I will read some information about Professor Rosnah Shamsudin, and let me read it for you. Professor Rosnah Shamsudin is okay. Can you back? Okay, this is the picture. Okay, it's familiar. It is very familiar picture for us. Okay, Professor Rosnah is from Universiti Putra, Malaysia. Okay, next. Okay, here are the educational background from Professor Rosnah. Bachelor Engineering at Agricultural Engineering, University Putra, Malaysia, and MSc Process of Food Engineering at University Putra, Malaysia, and Ph.D. at Chemical and Process Engineering 2008 at Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. Okay, next. And the expertise of Professor Rosnah is about food process machinery design and food engineering properties, and also about post-harvest engineering. Okay, next. Okay, well, Professor Rosnah, you will have 40 minutes to deliver your lecture, and I will remind you later if you have 3 minutes left. Well, Professor Rosnah, stage and times are yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Makbul. Amin, Makbul. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet all the students. How are you? So thank you very much because invite me again. Thank you very much. So I share my slide. I think the slide already shared. So I need to share again.
Yes, maybe.
Okay. So the topic today is cocoa production in Malaysia. So this is the content for our discussion this afternoon. So as we know cocoa or Theobroma cacao is one of the world's most significant perennial crop. So the major agriculture export commodity for making chocolate. So as we know, the first cocoa project in Malaysia was started at Jerangau, Sabah, covering 403 hectares of land in 1953. So cocoa has been traded commercially in Malaysia since 1960, and it is currently ranked fourth in the agriculture sector behind palm oil, rubber, and forestry product. So in 1990, Malaysia was the world's fourth largest cocoa producer behind Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Brazil. However, in 2010, it was ranked 13 in the world, 13. From fourth largest become 13 in the world. So this is because the reduction in the local production of cocoa bean in Malaysia. So about 90% of cocoa production in Malaysia are managed by the small scale farmer. I think similar to Indonesia, managed by the small scale farmer. Why the slide cannot move? Okay. So cocoa tree, about the cocoa, this is about the cocoa tree. A cocoa tree origin from the South American tropical jungle of the upper Amazon and Orinoco River. So the height of the tree around 6 to 12 meter, similar to 20 to 40 feet in the woodland understory, usually staying at the lower end of the range. So the leaves in the oblong shape grow to be 30 centimeter or 12 inches long and are shaped and replaced on a regular basis by the new leaf that are bright red color when young. So for the seedling, the growth, as we know, cocoa grow from the seed. Seed will germinate and produce good tree when taken from the pot no more than 15 days under ripe. I try to use pencil, but I don't know how to find the pencil. Do you see my cursor? Cannot, Okay. So yield of cocoa tree start to decline 30 years after planting. So for the rain require a hot and humid environment from the relative humidity of about 85%. So the annual rainfall around 1,500 and 2,000 millimeter to prevent soil water deficiency. So the dry period not more than 3 months. So for the temperature, the maximum annual average 30 to 32 degrees Celsius and the minimum average 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. So this is about the cocoa tree. So for the soil requirement, so the minimum requirement is about 2% organic carbon in the top 15 centimeter of soil. Is good for cocoa grow. So for the cocoa grow, cocoa require micronutrient, that's mean nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and magnesium, as well as micronutrient, copper, manganese, zinc, iron, and molybdenum. So for the ideal pH for cocoa is 6.5 and the soil in the range 5.5 to 7. So this is the common the soil requirement for the cocoa. So for the cocoa fruit, so after the cocoa tree has matured around 4 years, so cocoa tree need 4 years for the first fruit. It grow on the tree stem and bear fruit in the shape of elongated pod, which can yield up to 70 per year. 70 per year. So the pod start out green and turn yellow, orange, red, or purple at its ripen. Depend on the variety of the cocoa, the cocoa, because some fruit they turn to yellow, some variety they turn to orange, red or purple, depend the variety. So the mature is less than 6 months, reaching a length of 35 centimeter or 14 inches and breast around 12 centimeter in the center. Yeah, the pot, yeah, the cocoa pot. So as we see in the picture, this is the cocoa pod. Yeah? So the cocoa bean are grown inside enormous husk called pod. Yeah? The casing, the casing or the casing of the cocoa bean we call pod. Yeah? This pod allow the bean to grow while protecting them from the element, and they also indicate when the fruit is ripe. The pod is between the 300 and 500 gram in weight, depend on the variety, also depend on the variety, around 300 to 500 gram in weight. So for every pot, they have 30 to 50 bean. So 30 to 50 bean can be found in a pot. This is about the cocoa fruit. So because I have too many slides, so I need to go very fast. So for the cocoa beans, the seed pod, the cocoa kernel shell, and the cocoa nib, which are nearly entire consist of the two-folded cotyledon and radicle. Yeah. So for the cocoa powder, chocolate bar, and other cocoa derivative good, which are highly prized by consumer around the world. So our primary raw material utilized in the creation of final product intended for the direct consumption. Yeah. So according to report, after oil palm and rubber, cocoa is Malaysia's third most important commodity crop. Yeah. So in Malaysia, after palm oil, oil palm and rubber, the cocoa is the number 3 commodity. Yeah. So Malaysia export cocoa bean, cocoa shell in terms of raw and roasted, cocoa husk, raw and roasted, defected cocoa paste, cocoa butter, cocoa powder and chocolate to the American, Netherlands, Japan, Canada and Germany. So this is a little bit on the cocoa bean. So the category of the cocoa bean, so as we know, we can categorize into 3: unfermented, unroasted and roasted. So what we mean unfermented? So unfermented is after the cocoa pod are torn open, the sweet or somewhat sour mucilaginous pulp covering the pod seed is revealed. So yeast, lactic acid, bacteria and acidic acid bacteria ferment the pulp surrounding the cocoa bean, and the resulting high temperature and chemical created by the yeast microbe, such as ethanol from yeast, kill the bean and contribute to the flavoring of the chocolate. Yeah. So this is about the unfermented. For the unroasted, cocoa bean produced after fermentation. So after we do the fermentation, before we go to the drying process, we call this unroasted. So the good brown color, low astringency, low bitterness, absent of flavors such as smoky note and excessive acidity due to enzymatic and non-enzymatic reaction between seed component. So this is what we call unroasted. So for the roasted, cocoa bean produced after roasting treatment. Yeah. So roasted cocoa bean produced after roasting treatment. So commonly used in cocoa-based product manufactured instead of unfermented cocoa bean because of flavor. So during the roasted process, we develop the flavor of cocoa, our cocoa, the flavor of cocoa. So research has shown that roasted unfermented cocoa bean do not develop any cocoa flavor due to an absence of flavor precursor. So this is finding by the researcher. So for the next, so the production size, Malaysia produced 2,665 ton. cocoa for the target annually 40,000 ton. So for the world production 2.8 million ton, according to FAO 2003. So for the Malaysia production size, so for producing 500 kilo, around 48%, for the whole Malaysia, 48%, around 156 farmer can produce 500 kilo per year. So for 500, more than 500 but below than 1,000 kilo, so around 22.3%, around 72 farmer. So the production more than 1,000 until 1,500 kilo, so around 29.7%, or 45 to 15 farmers. Actually, the majority farmer just a small scale, small scale, they can produce around 500 kilo per year, 500 kilo per year. So this is the Malaysia Cocoa Board. So in Malaysia, we have one agency, government agency, to do everything about the cocoa, research, development for the farmer, development for the industry, all about the cocoa we have under Malaysia Cocoa Board. So we can see every state in Malaysia, not every, so we can see the distribution of the Malaysia Cocoa Board branch in Malaysia. So mostly in Sabah, mostly in Sabah. So this is about the nutrition value, of cocoa. So actually, as we know, cocoa rich source of phenolic compound, high in fat, protein, and fiber. So phytosterol contain mineral composition such as copper, magnesium, sodium, phosphorus, potassium, and magnesium, and tocopherol. So this is a little bit description for every nutrition in the cocoa. So you can read here for the fat lower in roasted cocoa bean compared to the unroasted cocoa bean. So for moisture content, highest in unfermented cocoa bean. Highest, of course lah, moisture content higher in the unfermented cocoa bean. So for the ash or mineral content, ash content in Malaysia roasted cocoa shell was higher than Italian roasted cocoa shell. So for the crude fiber, crude fiber of roasted cocoa bean is the highest. So unroasted cocoa bean from Nigeria contain 5.6% fiber, lower than unroasted cocoa bean from Malaysia. So for the crude protein highest in unroasted cocoa shell. So protein is important micromolecular in cocoa bean because it help the mild reaction create flavor after roasting. So the protein content is very important, important micromolecular. So carbohydrate, and then carbohydrate used during fermentation and roasting process to produce flavor, processor, and cocoa flavor. So TPC for total phenolic content, higher in unroasted cocoa bean. Phytosterol, abundant found in Malaysia cocoa bean compared to cocoa shell. So this is about the cocoa processing. So now before this we already discussed about a little bit on the cocoa tree, cocoa nutrition value, and now we go to the cocoa processing. So in Malaysia actually, in Malaysia the technique of processing are still primitive and lack technological innovation. there were considerable changes of flavor compound between the various roasting conditions discovered. The main flavoring compound identified composed of aliphatic and alicyclic groups such as alcohol and ester, and heterocyclic groups such as pyrazine and aldehyde. So the quality of Malaysia cocoa bean is still regarded as inferior to that of cocoa bean from West Africa, especially in terms of flavor quality. So fermentation and drying are two crucial steps in cocoa processing after fruit harvesting. So part one for the processing. So when we want to get the dried cocoa bean, so after harvesting, marketers are used to cut the ripe seed pod from the tree and split them open. The bean are collected in left cover heap, leaf-lined hole dug in the ground or big shallow box with the perforated bottom to allow for drainage or bean extract from the pot with the their surrounding pulp. I think the process is similar to Indonesia. I think similar. So the fermentation process, the pulp of common grade ferment for 5 to 7 days, where the pulp of more distinctive flavorful grade ferment for 1 to 3 days for the fermentation. So after that, we go to the drying process using sunlight, using sun drying to reduce the moisture content. So to reduce the moisture content to between 6 to 7%. So the fermented bean sun dry or kiln dry and package for the export. Package for the export. So next is for the description for the fermentation, and then the student can read after this. So we go for the next drying, of course, the discussion on the drying. So for the part 2, after we dry, we go for the roasting. Roasting is enhance the flavor. So the roasting is the important part, one of the important component part in cocoa processing, because they can develop the flavor, reduce acidity and astringency, reduce moisture content, darken color, and make shell removal easily. So after roasting, we go for the winnowing process. Following roasting, the shell are cracked and then separate from the heavier nib using blower in a cracking and fanning for winnowing process. So grinding break the cell wall of the nib, release the fat or cocoa butter, and generating a paste now chocolate liquor or cocoa mass. Chocolate liquor or cocoa mass. So after winnowing, we go to the nib grinding. So nib grinding is the final part of the 20th century. Nib grinding has advanced significantly, mixing nib with granulated sugar and placing the mixture in the melagio has one method of grinding nib before liquor mill. This technique produces a substance that ranges its consistency from a paste to a fluid. So after nib grinding, if you want to do cocoa powder using dash process, we need to do alkalization. Alkalization process can be used to change the flavor and color of the chocolate liquor and cocoa powder is desired. Dash processing is another name for it. The method in detail combining the chosen cocoa material, that's mean cocoa cake, nib or liquor, with an aqueous solution or a specific alkaline compound and mixing at high temperature. This is about the alkalization. So then we go to the liquor pressing. So liquor pressing, pumping hot chocolate liquor around 200 degrees Celsius into horizontal hydraulic press with operating pressure up to 550 bar is usually the first step in the separation of pressing process. The resulting cocoa cake is then broken and milled to the desired particle size, which are determined by the end use. So this is about the liquor pressing. Yeah. So after first part of the process is for the harvesting, fermentation and drying. For the second part, we go for the roasting, winnowing, meat grinding, alkalization and liquor processing. So and then so for the final product, so after we go finish the process, we can get cocoa butter, we can get cocoa cake, and then we can get cocoa powder. Yeah. So actually cocoa butter is another product made from the pressing cocoa liquor in a chocolate recipe. This is the most expensive of the major ingredient, yeah, cocoa butter. So for the cocoa cake obtained from the liquid pressing process, yeah. So the cocoa powder, the cocoa cake were ground to obtain this is must go through a series of chilling process before grinding. This a little bit about the final product. So the flavor of cocoa. Flavor of cocoa is one the important in cocoa processing. So the flavor produced is result of combination of 400 to 500 compound, including pyrazine, aldehyde, ether, thiazole, phenol, ketone, alcohol, furan, and ester. Yeah. So this is the important flavor we need to develop during roasting process. Yeah. So the primary chemical generated during roasting include aldehyde and pyrazine. Yeah. During roasting, they are generated via the Maillard reaction and structure degradation of the amino acid and sugar. So actually, according to Kenny, 1972, the roasting process not only produce new volatile compound for certain flavor by pyrolyzing sugar, but it also cause the loss of minor chemical that affect the final flavor of chocolate. Yeah. So then this is about the flavor of cocoa. Yeah. So as we discussed before this. So next we go to the compound. Yeah, this is about compound. As we say before this is the description for the pyrazine, aldehyde and alcohol. Yeah, ester, xanthine, alcoholic, namely caffeine and terbinafine. Yeah. So compound that affect the flavor, polyphenol, epitacin, catechin, and pyrocyanidin. Yeah. It is what gives chocolate its astringent flavor, according to the Kim and Nazaruddin. Yeah. These chemicals were destroyed at high temperature and over longer period of time, resulting in a less astringent flavor. So the low astringency was achieved by roasting at 150 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. Yeah, for 40 minutes. Although roasting at 170 Celsius for 50 minutes produce a least astringency, it is also the most expensive. Furthermore, because the cocoa was roasted in the treatment situation, is quite bitter. Would be quite bitter. So the nutrition value for the cocoa butter. Cocoa butter rich in stearic acid, which is high in saturated fat, but the saturated fat in cocoa butter is unique as does not cause any effect to the cholesterol level in the blood. Also contain only acid which help in lowering the cholesterol level. Yeah. For the cocoa cake and cocoa powder, only contain 10% fat, 22.4% protein, 46.7% carbohydrate, and 2.8% theobromine. So now we go to the chocolate processing. The worldwide consumption of chocolate every year is estimated to be at least 7.2 million metric ton. Yeah. So for the making of chocolate, so we start with the mixing process. Yeah. So in the mixing process, we need to mixing sugar, milking a portion of chocolate butter for 5 minutes at 45 degrees Celsius. So after mixing, we go to the refining process. Refining is the cocoa mixture to obtain particle size of 15 to 30 micrometer. This is to ensure chocolate texture is soft. Yeah. For the coaching, involve mixing of the mixture for the least 24 hours at temperature of 50 to 65 degrees Celsius. Yeah. So for the tempering method, chocolate is cooled prior to the chocolate molding. This process is important to ensure it is a longer shelf life and that is doesn't melt easily. That is what we call tempering. So chocolate, the final product, actually the chocolate is the final product, involve chocolate block or pure chocolate or chocolate mixture with filling and coated chocolate. Depend on what is our product, our choose for the final product. This is about the differentiate between the chocolate. So we have dark chocolate, we have milk chocolate, and we have white chocolate. So nutrition value for the chocolate, actually the main ingredient include the cocoa fat, sugar and milk, high content of fat, carbohydrate and protein, rich in vitamin A and D, as well as vitamin B, thiamine, riboflavin and niacin. So the challenges and the pain point. So the challenges in the cocoa industry is the climate change, because of the climate change and also the technical efficiency and global price and competition. Global price and competition. So the pest and disease, of course lah, pest and disease and lack of knowledge and research in cocoa. So this is the discussion about the climate change, because climate change can influence the three behavior: increasing atmospheric CO2, warming, and then the third one, changes in rainfall and drought pattern and duration. So technical efficiency due to challenges like a small family company, capital scarcity, subsistence farming and primitive technology, there is a labor shortage resulting in the low productivity and low income, especially in Malaysia, because of inadequate management, poor record keeping and low use of input in cocoa production, and the process has not progressed. So insecticide and pesticide fertilizer are expensive. So one of the problem. So another problem is the global price and competition. So the high production cost, labor, agrochemical, tree stock aging, and labor shortage. Furthermore, during in 1990, price have decreased. The popularity of oil palm and rubber tree can be attributed to the ease with how they are planted, and as well as the fact that their price are reasonable. So rubber tree are also less susceptible to illness, despite the fact that they are grown in the same region as a cocoa. That is the challenges. This the pest and disease control, and I think similar in Malaysia. I think the problem, pest and disease. So lack of research and knowledge, lack of training, knowledge and status of farmer, particularly in regard to seed quality, soil type and plant location. So the recommendation for the pest and disease to prevent the spread of illness and pests between different producing area, extreme caution is required. So the uses of the University of Reading quarantine facilities is critical is preventing disease spread. It is strongly advised that all plant material exchange, there even those within the same continent go through this quarantine. So lack of research, the how to solve, increase understanding and awareness of the interdependency and interaction of natural resources and climate change, as well as the vulnerabilities and interdisciplinary effort required to deal with this issue. So cocoa tree breeding initiative for long-term resistant to plant health constraint and climate change are thus particularly critical problem for cocoa farming along with other plantation management approach. So the productivity potential ratio is an important tool for estimating the technology gap between a country and its surrounding region. So effort to increase productivity efficiency should focus on the decreasing, if not eliminating, farm level issue and increasing fertilizer use. It is also suggested that farmer be educated on proper maintenance and technique. So for the climate change, the promote smart agriculture to mitigate the effect of climate change and agroforestry system to mitigate such effect and prevent deforestation. Productivity, quality and adaptation to changing growing circumstances must be increased, which is especially crucial in light of climate change. So pest and disease distribution pattern may shift in response to variation in rainfall and temperature pattern, and this feature merit additional investigation. So next, technical efficiency to decrease during the decomposition of organic fertilizer, a variety of organic acid create stable complex with the aluminium and iron, inhibiting phosphorus retention site and resulting in increased phosphorus use efficiency in crop. So for the global price and competition from the other commodity crop, research to establish new cocoa plantation in cultivation area to preserve area of tropical forest that have escaped deforestation and propose new innovative agroforestry system with adapt plant material for all component part. So for the next is incentive, incentive and program by the Malaysia Cocoa Board. So they have a cocoa smallholder development program, and they consolidate program development program, entrepreneur development cocoa program, and capacity building program. This is the initiative by the Malaysia Cocoa Board. So that's all from me. So I can finish early.
Okay. Thank you so much for Professor Rosnah for an eye-catching presentation and lecture, I think.
Is it okay or too fast?
No. It's okay because you deliver it around 40 minutes. Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Rosnah. And before going to the next speaker, I have some notes from Professor Rosnah presentations. Like cocoa is also the major agriculture sector, right? And it is managed. Around 90% are managed by small-scale farmer. And we also learn how cocoa tree and cocoa fruit and produce some cocoa beans and how it is produced to be a chocolate. Like we have learned about harvesting, fermentation, drying, and roasting, winnowing until liquor pressing. Okay, some problems in some challenge and fine point for the chocolate industry in Malaysia, like climate change, same as in Indonesia, maybe I think, and also about the technical efficiency, lack of technology, global price and competitions, and pest and disease. And this is what we hear also from the Ministry of Agriculture here about the pest and disease for the cocoa tree. And also lack of research and knowledge. Okay. There are also some recommendations from Professor Rosnah to the government of Malaysia or MCB in this case, right? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Rosnah. For all the participants, if you have any questions, you may write down on the chat room, right? And I will read it for you next in the discussion sessions. Okay, let's move to the next presenter. He is from Rajamangala University of Okay. He is from Rajamangala University of Technology Isan.
มีเสียงไหมครับ
Okay. He is
เสียงนั้นไม่
Dr.
ได้ยินตรงนี้นะ
He is Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa.
มีเสียงออกลำโพงไหมครับ
Okay, Sawadika. How are
สวัสดี
you?
ครับ
Achan Anirut Pipatprapa. How are you?
Excuse me, I would like to check my speaker first. My round
Yes.
speaker first.
Actually, it is still
Okay.
okay. We can hear you now.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Sawadika, how are you? Achan
Fine.
Pipatprapa. we hope you are good health in Thailand. How are Thailand right now for the COVID-19 situation?
I think for the Thailand situation, like went out more a little serious because especially in my city. Yesterday we
Okay.
have the new person that got the virus around 300 person. The
Okay.
new virus.
Okay, I miss Bangkok actually so much because I learned in King Mongkut University also.
Oh, you
Yeah.
study for the PhD program, right?
Yes, I study PhD program at King Mongkut University, Chonburi. Technology
Okay.
Chonburi. Okay.
Great.
Okay. For your information, you will have 40 minutes for lecture session to deliver your lecture. And next we will have discussions after your presentations. And let me introduce, before going for the lecture session, let me introduce a little bit about Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa. Okay, wait a moment. Here is the picture, nice picture from Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa, and normally we call it Achan Anirut Pipatprapa in Thailand. Okay, next. Okay, the educational background, bachelor degree at technology program in business information technology, Sukhothai Thamatirat Open University, Notaburi, Thailand, and Master of Management, School of Management Technology, Suranari University of Technology, Nakhon Ratchasima, Thailand. And the last is Ph.D. in Industrial Management, National Pingtung University of Science and Technology, Pingtung, Thailand. And the other informations about next. The expertise from Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa is about quality management, production management, time and motion study, operational research, fuzzy system, and image processing, and also about factory warehouse systems. Okay, next. Okay, that's all from Achan Anirut Pipatprapa, and well, you will have 40 minutes to deliver your lecture. I will remind you later if you have 3 minutes left. Well, Dr. Pipatprapa, stage and times are yours.
Thank you for your introduction. So right now I would like to say welcome all of the guests to in my section. So today my name is Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa. I'm Assistant President of Rajamangala University of Technology. So today I would like to present the topic is the cluster management to increase the Thailand's cocoa business productivity. So and then I would like to break down my presentation into 4 parts. The first part is introduction. This part to tell you about what is the importance of the Thailand policy to develop our country to support the sustainable development. And the second part is cluster management. Then the third part is Thailand cocoa cluster. So right now, if we talk about the cluster in Thailand, it's very important to develop my country, especially in agriculture. And then we will know for today, because in my section, we focus in the agriculture. And then let's go to the conclusion in the fourth part. Introduction. Right now for Thai country, we developed the regulation to support BCG economic model. And the BCG economic model was employed to increase the Thailand's sustainable development based on agriculture sections. What is the difference? Before my country focused in the technology or car or automobile, but right now we know the position, we know the Thailand, we specialists in the agriculture, and then we use the BCG model to employ to increase the development of our country. And then B, what is B? B is bioeconomy. Bioeconomy, we use for add the value for agriculture product and higher income for the farmers. And the third one, reduction in the government subsidies or price to inventors. And then job creation throughout the value chain. And then increase the competitiveness of various industry in Thailand. And then eco-friendly product like reduce the carbon dioxide. How about the C? C is circular. Circular is like a reuse and recycle. And the next one, green economy. And then we combine 3 factors together. We call BCG economy model. And then the major source for the Thailand, after we know the BCG economy model, and then the major source of direct impact to agriculture for Thai economy, heavy on the external sector, especially export and tourism. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we have so many problems in our country. The first one, disruption in international supply chain results in the temporarily declining in export. And the second one, domestic supply chain disruption for lockdown and the curfew major serious affected fresh product. And the third one, decline in the food demand due to declining number of the tourists after a ban on international flight. And then the fourth one, declining in domestic demand because of the closing the business activities, such as the customers were not allowed to eat in the restaurant and the food shop, except to take away the food service. Therefore, the online sales have been booming by Grab Food, Food Panda in my country. Right now is very popular. And then the curfew also reduced the sales of the convenience store and eating place in the morning and evening. This is the effect from the COVID-19 pandemic to our lives or our daily life. And then regarding the cocoa imports and export during the 2009-2020s. Right now, the value of imports of the commodity group, the cocoa bean, whole or the bulk raw material and loaded to Thailand totally decreased around 89%. But the country that we import the cocoa to Thailand, such as around 59% from Peru, and Philippines around 39%. And the next one, another country in Asia. For the export, the cocoa export during 2050 to 2020, the export also decreased. If we compare with the 2019, decreasing about 100% or 99% the export, the cocoa product from Thailand. The country that we support, that we send the cocoa product like an export, the first one around 87%. We export the cocoa product to Laos, and the second one around 12.3%. We export the cocoa product to Hong Kong, and the third one is Australia. This is the performance in import and export for the cocoa product. During the COVID-19, everyone asked me that, how about the cocoa product and the service in Thailand? During the COVID-19 agriculture product, the positive impact on instant food and diet food, etc. Molasses and cocoa still survive in the COVID-19 right now. For the export, fish right now have the negative impact decline from disruption from the logistics and decline in demand and export. For the cluster management, right now in our country, the first thing, the government that support the agriculture to develop their firm. Right now, the previous about their organization, the government support just one by one the farmer, or the one by one or the product and the service. But right now, no. We support all the supply chain of the product, such as inbound, process, and outbound. And then right now we call cluster. The cluster is a geographical proximity group and interconnect company and associate in situation in the particular field, linked by the commonality and externality. Moreover, the geographic connections of the customer, supplier, and the competitor in a particular region promote innovation and competitiveness. And the third one, the economic cluster consists of verticals. Vertical is the share of supplier, or horizontals. The horizontal is the share of the customer related to the companies within one national economy. This means right now we have to support all the business or an enterprise, entire supply chain. The main motive of the small agriculture producer, the first one to compare with an increasing number of the large and affiliate companies on the market, hold the power, allow them to dictate the market condition. And the second one, due to the present finance constraint. The finance constraint is very important to support the entrepreneur or enterprise. Because if we don't have the money or budget to support their activity, and then we cannot produce the high yield and high product. And then if we don't have the financial to support, we will have the problem, so many problems or constant. The first one, low production capacities and offer potential and give the expensive and non-standard production, insufficient orientation to innovative marketing, market research, and modern technologies. And the third one, the farmer and the company have the opportunity to join, use a key resource of competitiveness, make up everything the individual lack and prevent them for the successful market appearance. And the fourth one, operation of agriculture company within the cluster can lead to the increase the productivities and growth of the production. This is very important and like a motivation to support the entrepreneur or supplier to enjoy the cluster. Which means right now, if we wanna survive in the COVID-19 pandemic, we have to join together until inbound process and the outbound and survive together between enterprise, between group to produce. This is the motivation for the small agriculture producer. What is the reason they have to join in the cluster? Agribusiness cluster, we consist of the first one. We have to draw the first like a core business first. The core business we call grower and processor. And then we have to think about the seed, nurseries and fertilizer, inspection ticket, farm equipment, store facility, irrigation technology. This is industrial to support like an inbound logistics and support the core business. And the third one, like a organization to support like a crop processing equipment, transportation, packaging service, public relation advertising, specialized publication, and financial service. This is organization to support the core business in the middle. And then not only the inbound core business process, and the third one is the like organization support. The cluster, we also have the educational and research train operation to support the cluster. You see, if you want to develop the cluster, the previous situation, if you want to develop your skill, you have to find the training program by yourself. But right now, if you want to develop the skill and the knowledge, you can search and you can go together in the cluster. And the third one, the cluster of the other agriculture product, the customer or buyer consumer industry. And then all the cluster will have the power to negotiate with the government to support the subsidy or inventor to help all the supply chain of you. This is like a new model in my country to develop entire product and service by using the cluster management. อันนี้เลื่อนไม่ได้ไหม Okay. Right now, if we talk about the cocoa product, the first one I ask you first, I ask all of you, you do a business. What is the goal that you do the business? What is your goal to do the business?
Profit.
Right?
How about
the profit, right? The profit and the money, right? To make your business to survive, right? But right now we are not thinking about the profit. We think about the process. right? Right now for agriculture product or agriculture business, we focus in process more than product and the customer. This is a problem. It's not only my country, right? It's not my only country. Because if we think about only process, and then everyone have the problem. The main problem or the first problem of the all entire business or enterprise is marketing factor. You have so many yield, you have so many cocoa, you have so many products made from the cocoa, and you cannot sell because you forgot in the process. The second question is, the first one, I asked question, what is your goal in your business? And the second thing, if you want right now, the quality, what is the qualities in your mind? What's the quality in your mind? If we talk about the quality, what is the quality in your mind?
The test.
The test, right?
Yeah.
The test. You see the test. And how about the student from Indonesia? Janda? Janda, you are not student, right?
Yeah.
If you
Hello,
talk
student.
about the quality, your friend think about the quality is test. How about Janda?
Yes, I think the test is the most common things that people think that kind of chocolate is good or not.
Right. Okay. Right now, the quality meaning is different and change. Right now, the quality is customer satisfaction. Right now, the quality is customer satisfaction. And the cost suitable for the customer. This is the quality meaning right now. The quality is not only the quality of product. It's not only the quality of service, but right now if we think about the quality is customer satisfaction. And the second thing is the quality is the cost that suitable for the customer money. This is the quality right now. So which is mean if we right now we focus in the process to produce the product from the cocoa only, and then we don't think about the customer. And the effect from this problem is very serious because right now everyone know right now we have effect from the COVID-19 pandemic, right? If we won't change our attitude to change our product that support the customer problem, and then our product we cannot pass in this pandemic. Right now, if we talk about the cocoa product, we have to think about the customer first. If we won't think about the customer angle, the problem that affect to our business is marketing, and then we cannot sell our product, and then finally we cannot survive. This means right now we have to change our product to support the customer requirement. That the customer requirement is customer satisfaction and the cost that's suitable for the customer money. Right, this is very important to design the cocoa product, not only the processing. Right now, I would like to talk about how can we know the customer requirement. The customer requirement we have so many tools to know. The first one, we can use the questionnaire. And the second one, we can use the social media tools to ask the customer requirement. And then we collect the customer requirement, and then we can redesign our product, like redesign the processing that match to the production. That will be better. But if we think about only the process, we cannot develop our product that support the customer requirement. That is your problem. Okay, for the cocoa supply chain, right now we have to know where is our position. We have to know this is the cocoa supply chain, and then not only we know entire supply chain, because the supply chain we have inbound, process, and outbound. The first thing we have to know, where is our position first? We are inbound, we are agriculturalist or not? Or we are factory? Or we are the shop, or restaurant, or cosmetic company? This is very important. Inbound logistics, like raw material, agriculturalist, goalies, and harvesting, sun drying. And then for the process is the middle. Let's go to the roasting and cracking and sorting. For the process to grinding chocolate and pressing become to the powder and better chocolate. And the third one, let's go to the outbound logistics. This is the final product of the cocoa, like food and beverage. And some enterprise or some entrepreneur, they create the cocoa to the cosmetic. To support right now, the cosmetic is very important to support aging society. You see, right now the cocoa product, not only the food and beverage. Right now we employ the cocoa product to design the cosmetic. And right now the cosmetic to support the aging societies. Everyone wanna younger, right? Everyone wanna younger forever, right? I think everyone wanna younger. Everyone wanna fresh. Everyone don't wanna get old. And then right now the new way for Thailand cocoa product or production, we use the cocoa product to create the cosmetic. And then handicraft, what is the handicraft made from the cocoa tree or cocoa fruit like this. And then this part to the final or end user. If we talk about cluster management, we have to think about cluster map. That I mentioned it before. If we wanna design the cluster map, we have to start from the first one is core business. What is the core business? Core business is supply chain, inbound, process, and outbound. And then in the middle or in the center, this is core business in cocoa product. And then let's go to the left-hand side, is support industry. What is industry that support the core business? We have to think about that first. And then the third one, related industry. What is the related industry? The related industry like an output from the core business. After we produce the cocoa, like a cream, like a butter, like a powder, like a chocolate, and then we will send to the related industry like a coffee business, food and beverage, transportation business, or cosmetic. This is a related industry. This is in the centers of cluster map, and down like a professional support. The professional support is the bank. For in Thailand, we have the Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperative, and SME Bank, and the Thailand Post Office. This is the professional support. With regarding educational support, we also have right now the cocoa cluster. We have 2 universities that support this project. The first one, King Mongkut University of Technology, North Bangkok. And the second university that support the cocoa cluster is Rajamangala University of Technology. This is the first university that support the researcher and research to help the enterprise and cocoa business to design the new product, like a cosmetic, like a handicraft, like the product made from the cocoa. This one from both university. And then I told you before that if you wanna develop your skill, if you wanna create the new product, you can use the way for the cluster management. And then if we join together, inbound join together, process join together, and outbound join together, and then all of you have the power to negotiate with the government to support your subsidies, the subsidy to your business. And this, I think this is the benefits for the cluster management. For Thailand, the cocoa cluster, the Thailand cocoa cluster consists of 4 clusters, totally allow 540 group. The first one, Central and East cluster, from Chonburi Province, Nakhon Sawan Province. And the second one, South cluster. This is the south of Thailand, consists of the Surat Thani Province, Nakhon Si Thammarat Province. And the third one, North cluster, consists of Chiang Rai Province and Phetchabun Province. And the last one, Isan cluster. Isan cocoa cluster from Khon Kaen Province and Nong Khai Province. Totally around 540 group. Conclusion: the clustering is a model of the regional development based on the unified functioning of the entity in the same sector and their resource with the support of state institutions. The benefits of the business entity gain from this association are reflected in easier overcoming of the problem encountered during operations, better exchange of information, and generation of the knowledge. These benefits also increase the business efficiency of the small and medium-sized enterprise and support to the develop in the other sector, balance regional development and overall progress of the region. Which means this is the cluster important in my country. That's all I want to talk about Thailand, the cocoa business from the cluster management. The first one, I talk about the importance of my government policy to support agriculture. And the second one, we talk about the cluster management, important to develop sustainable development and business enterprise. And the third one, I talk about if we want to have the higher profit, what should we do? The first one, we have to think about the customer requirement first. If we decide to process and don't support the customer requirement, and then we cannot survive during the time COVID-19 pandemic right now. And then we talk about the cocoa product, cocoa supply chain in Thailand. This is the benefits of cluster management in Thailand context. Do you have any question?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa for nice and well prepared lecture. I also have some notes from Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa presentations. The first one is, this nice one is about the BCG economy model of biocircular green economy model. This one is the government policies to support the agriculture sector in Thailand, and how we also have seen the performance import and export of cocoa products or chocolate products in Thailand. But during this pandemic, COVID, I think there is a little bit change in the export trend, right? And also about the cluster management, this one, how the development of chocolate product in Thailand according to cluster management. We have seen how the cluster agribusiness, some cluster like inbound core business, how the educations and governments give support to the core business of cocoa in Thailand. Okay, also about the value chains. About the value chains, the quality means right now is the quality satisfaction, and also about the suitable cost for customer satisfactions. Okay, that's all maybe my notes for Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa presentations, and let's give applause for the presentation both for Rosnah and also for Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa.
Thank you very much.
Okay, here actually we already have some questions for both Professor Rosnah and also Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa. Maybe I will read it one by one for you. The first question is for Professor Rosnah from Dr. Arifin Dwi Saputra. To Professor Rosnah, in your presentation, you state that conching temperature was at 50 until 65 degrees Celsius. Is the conching process suitable for all types of chocolate, dark and white chocolate? For another question, what is the right temperature for the chocolate tempering process? The first question is about the conching process, suitable for all types or not, dark or white chocolate.
Okay, for the conching, so for the white chocolate and the dark chocolate, for the conching, yeah. So I think similar because the different in the different on the formulation between dark chocolate and white chocolate, and the process is similar. And so for the second question is what is it? The second question?
What is the right temperature for the chocolate
tempering
process?
Tempering basically 70 degrees Celsius.
70.
70.
It has the effect to the flavor or not?
Effect.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The effect to flavor.
Oh, the tempering is the very important. If you want to see the glossy chocolate, so the tempering is very important process after roasting. Tempering.
Okay.
Now we can do tempering using machine. Normally for the past farmer, they do by manually. Basically, by chef, they do tempering by manually during making chocolate. So for the big industry, they use a machine for the tempering process.
I see. Okay, thank you so much, Professor Rosnah, for the answer. And maybe I will read the second question to Dr. Anirut. Would you explain in what form cocoa is exported and imported in Thailand? Maybe we have seen just now the trend in the data in Thailand, the export data and the import data. And the question here is what form cocoa is exported and imported in Thailand?
Important import and export, right?
Yes.
Okay, from the data, the product that from the data here, the cocoa export, cocoa bean, whole or broken, raw or roasted. This one is the product. That's import and export from the data.
I see.
Using statistics. And then they collect the data from import and export from the Thai government to report that right now what is the situation in import and export during the COVID-19 especially right now. We want to know the decrease, actually average decrease import and export.
I see. Okay, another question is about who are the main players in the cocoa industry in Thailand, big industry or SMEs, small and medium enterprise?
Right now, I think for the enterprise in Thailand, that the big size, right?
Big size.
The big size in Thailand, I think like a CP.
Oh,
maybe
I see. CP.
company is very big company that produce more the product from cocoa. But right now I'm like a advisor for the company. But right now, especially in my city, we according to the soil and the temperature that not suitable to plant the cocoa tree. And then in my city, we import the cocoa powder from Belgium. Right now, we think about if we want to develop one product. If we want to develop one product, between the first one, we invest the place to plant, and the environment we cannot control, and we have so many effects to our product. I think right now we have to rethinking again. You choose to plant the cocoa or not? If your environment that's suitable to plant, you can do. Okay. If you have the labor or employee to plant, you can do, because everything that affects to the cost of your product. But for me, in my city, we know about this one, and then right now we choose another way. We import the cocoa powder from Belgium, and then we can add more value in our product. Right now, me and my friend, we have the new product from the cocoa. The first one is like a coffee cocoa.
Oh, I see. Coffee.
Good for your health. The second one, right now we in the like a experiment. We wanna make the cocoa product to do the cosmetic.
I see.
Support the aging society. Right now, still in the experiment.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Anirut. Okay, the next question is to Professor Rosnah. The question is, among the cocoa processing, such as roasting, winnowing, grinding, and etc., which one the most important process that affect the taste of chocolate product? Which one?
Oh, actually all the process is important, kan, to process the chocolate, kan. The important thing is roasting, because to develop the flavor, as I mentioned in the slide just now. So the roasting is very important, and then the during the making of chocolate, tempering. Tempering is very important to get a good quality of chocolate. So actually all the process is important. All the process is important. The formulation, the ingredient, the raw material, all is important. Okay, because we love chocolate. I think all of us like chocolate.
Yeah.
So how about Dr. Anirut? Do you like chocolate?
Sure.
But I don't like dark chocolate because very the dark chocolate.
sweet, yeah.
Oh yeah. I like milk
I love
chocolate.
to eat the white chocolate, right?
Oh, white chocolate.
White chocolate.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Rosnah. Okay, the next question is actually to Dr. Anirut. Where is the main source of raw materials cocoa bean in cocoa supply chain in Thailand? It is from small cocoa farming or big farming scale? And how to answer that the quality of cocoa bean is in good quality or standardized or not?
Okay, thank you for your question. The first one I wanna know, I wanna answer that. For the resource of the cocoa bean in Thailand, actually in south of Thailand.
Right.
The first one, originally, the cocoa bean moved from Malaysia, Indonesia, and then moved to Thailand. But originally, it's not in Thailand.
I see.
Then moved to south of Thailand. The first zone that plant the cocoa tree is south of Thailand. That is the biggest city to plant and the source of the cocoa material in Thailand. Like this.
And another question is it coming from a small scale cocoa farming or big farming scale?
We use like a cluster. We use like a cluster to collect the small farm. No, because right now if we plant the cocoa in the small farm, we don't have the power to talk about the price. We cannot negotiate with the factory well. But right now, I told you before, like a cluster. Right now we have the cluster. One cluster, we have the around 100 farmer, like 100 agriculturalists. And then after they have the product, the cocoa product, and then they collect together like a cluster. And then they send to the factory. And then they can negotiate the price. They have the power to negotiate with the factory. And then the price is not too low. Right now I can say that right now the cocoa price in Thailand is like that's fit for the agriculturalists right now, I think.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Anirut, for the answer. And this is the next question from the student. The first one is from Brilliant Rapi. Dr. Anirut, excuse me, so let me ask you a question. How large the contribution of small-scale cocoa farming or plantation to total of cocoa product in Thailand? Thank you.
At this point, I'm not sure. Maybe I have to search, I have to search the information to tell you again.
Yeah.
And the next question, right? From the presentation, like a cocoa product industry, we need to know the requirement of the customer. Right now, I can tell everyone that if we want to know the customer requirement, we can use empathy map.
Oh, empathy map.
This is a tool for management to know the customer requirement. empathy map. And then the student asks, what is the difference between the customer requirement before the COVID-19 pandemic and right now the COVID-19 pandemic? Different. Also, the cocoa product is like a specific group, but we still need to know the customer requirement well. Because right now, we know that right now the customer behavior change, right? Also, you love to eat the chocolate, but we still have to change. What is the reason that we have to change the product to support the customer requirement? Because the COVID-19 pandemic right now. And if we still produce the product, the same product, we cannot sell, right? And if you want to make more money during the COVID-19, we have to redesign the new product. I have to like a double quote, support the customer problem. Because every customer, they have problem, and then they buy our product to support their problem. This is the point that I advise to the business owner. Right now, we cannot sell the same product before the COVID pandemic. Right now, we have to change our product to support the environment change, to support the customer behavior change. The tool that I suggest everyone use is empathy map. The empathy map is a tool in management. They will ask, what is the question that empathy map asks? The first one, they put our product in the center. And then they ask the customer or stakeholder that, what do you feel after you see our product? What do you feel? What do you think? What do you, how can I say, what do you think about our product? What is the problem after you eat? How about the taste? Do you hear everyone talk about our product? Like this. This is an empathy map tools to know the customer requirement. And that one, and the next one, if we know, after we know all the factor, like what they feel, what they do, what they want to eat, what the taste, and then you can redesign your product to support the results from the empathy map. You know, right after I know the results from the empathy map, you know, right now I have the new product from the cocoa product. After you decide, like design thinking, and then you will know the new product that you want to produce. Right now, if you produce a product that support the customer requirements, of course you can sell. This is different between before the previous COVID-19 and during the COVID-19.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Anirut, for the answer. And this is the next question from the participant for Professor Rosnah. Dear Professor Rosnah, I would like to ask a question. Is there any new technology in cocoa processing which currently applied in Malaysia? For example, modified fermentations using starter culture, or another method in chocolate processing? Excuse me, Professor Rosnah,
Okay. So according to Malaysia Cocoa Board, there is no recent research on the cocoa, because the fermentation, they try to do some upgrade regarding the fermentation of cocoa bean, but they say the what we call the traditional process is better. Better than so that's mean they try too many to change the current method. So but the flavor is better using the traditional method compared to the upgrade process kan. So they say maybe we don't know. They said they don't know what happened because they try to change the process kan, to upgrade the process, to modify the process, but the flavor is better in the traditional process. That means they use in the box, the beans kan, the fresh bean put in the box and then just leave for the 3 to the 5 days, something like this lah. So I think all over the world still do the same process like this, and so maybe this the good condition for the microbe to do the fermentation process. So when we try to change their home life, maybe they cannot do their work very well kan. So that's why until now I think I'm not sure, but I think the process is still similar.
Conventional one way.
So the roasting, maybe the roasting is the machinery, maybe the type of machinery, but the roasting temperature is similar. And so actually the new process on chocolate more in the chocolate making. That's mean the process of cocoa bean is similar, but the making of chocolate, maybe they have too many type of chocolate, many type of so many formulation and or maybe many ingredient kan. We know chocolate from the Brussels kan, so very popular in the world kan. I'm not sure the name kan. So maybe Dr. Arifin know because he study in Belgium kan. Belgium is famous making of chocolate. They don't have the cocoa tree. Belgium don't have the cocoa tree, but they are the top chocolate in the world kan. And so that's all lah to me. And
okay. The next one is still for Professor Rosnah. The question is, with the current COVID-19 condition, is there a simple way to process chocolate in our own home? And how to attract customers to like chocolate product that we make ourselves?
Okay, chocolate, not the cocoa, chocolate. So I think making when they sell in the YouTube, they sell in the Facebook kan. So there are many followers kan. So I'm not sure lah, but I think they can increase the sale using the social media. But the chocolate is this chocolate. Maybe they change the variety of chocolate. The color or the shape, maybe the design of the chocolate, right? But I think in pandemic, mostly in Malaysia, they focus on the social media. And
okay, thank you so much, Professor Rosnah. And maybe you can tell us, Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa, about I'm interested in the mixing of coffee and chocolate in your research.
Mocha, we call this mocha.
Mocha.
Hey, mocha, chocolate and coffee. Yes, mocha. Is it right, Anirut?
How is the trend in Thailand about this product?
Actually, the trend in Thailand, especially in my university, right now my university, we support the cannabis,
Cannabis.
Yeah, cannabis. We have the researcher to experiment about make the cocoa mix together with the cannabis and the coffee.
Oh.
So after that, they become dizzy.
No, they have to happy all day.
Okay.
Happy all day, right? But for my product, that means the coffee and the cocoa.
Coffee.
This one like we call mocha, right?
Mocha, yes.
For the trend in my city, we can make more money. Like we have like the trend in our country. And like right now, the marker for the young guy, young people, especially for the student, they love to drink.
Starbucks, they like Starbucks. They go to Starbucks to buy mocha coffee.
Right, but right now we have to block
Yes.
their heart. They have to change their heart and attitude to buy. How can we block their heart? Very difficult, right?
Okay.
How about the Starbucks in your country?
The Starbucks.
The chocolate. Everyone love to drink from the Starbucks.
Oh, Starbucks in Malaysia, yes. But expensive.
Very
Right.
expensive one. It's not a good choice for to enjoy coffee or chocolate in Starbucks.
But
So
in Indonesia,
we have to buy the new glass, the new cup, and then we
You
can.
come. Okay, I see. Okay, this one is very interesting, I think, for Professor Rosnah. Here in Indonesia, we have some farmer. They develop the sugar palm from sawit. Is there any development? Is there any development in Malaysia making sugar palm from sawit?
oh, I heard about this new invention. They can create a
Export,
sugar from the palm oil.
Palm
That's
oil.
still new. Palm oil from the oil palm, not
Oil
from
palm.
the oil palm. Sorry, from the
Oil palm tree, right?
palm tree, but still new here.
I see.
So how about in Indonesia?
Yes, we hear some region in Sumatra. They create the sugar palm from oil palm plantation.
Oh, okay.
Oil palm tree, not
Oil palm tree, yes.
yeah. But we don't have a specific product right now. Only the sugar palm, like the concrete
new.
one. Yeah,
Still
it's still new in
Still
Indonesia.
new. Still new. It's good if we can produce sugar from the oil palm tree.
Yes, actually,
it's good. It's good. So we can
actually
increase.
for the tree that has in the age of non-productive age.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get more students to study on this topic.
Yes, yeah, we can discuss it later.
Okay.
To send students to UPM or to Thailand maybe.
Thailand. Okay.
To create more cup from sugar palm and coffee.
Sugar palm and coffee.
Okay.
And cocoa. And
Okay. Okay, for the participant, is there any questions that you want to directly ask to our guest lecture today? Is there any other questions? If there are any questions, you can open your microphone and then directly ask to our guest lecture today. Feel free. Okay. Okay, we have actually right now is 3 p.m. and this is our this is the end of our lecture, guest lecture today. And hopefully you enjoy the discussion and the session, both from Professor Rosnah and also from Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa. Okay, let's give some applause for them.
Thank you.
Okay, before giving back the stage to the Master of Ceremony, we have a certificate for the speaker today. The first one is for Professor Rosnah. This is the certificate, and we will send you later for the official one.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and the next one is the certificate, the symbolic certificate for Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa. And we will send you the official one later, maybe 1 week later. Okay, thank you so much for today's lectures. And
Maybe photo session.
okay, yes, I'm sorry. We need a photo session for documentation. Maybe
Host the event first.
okay.
Okay. Thank you to Mr. Makbul who has led the discussion this afternoon. And once again, thank you to Professor Dr. Rosnah Shamsudin and Dr. Anirut Pipatprapa who have presented the lesson. I also learned a lot about today's topic. And before closing this event, I want to ask for a moment for a photo session because it is requested for all participants to activate the video. Sebelum menutup acara, kami meminta waktunya sebentar untuk sesi foto bersama. Karena itu dimohon untuk seluruh peserta mengaktifkan video. For the participants, please open your camera. Is there a person to take the photo? Can you count it?
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the next slide. The next slide. Wait a moment. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. I will give back the stage to Mr. Jovantil. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Makbul, to take the photo. And thank you to the participants who have attended this guest lecture until the end of this event. It is reminded again for all the participants to feel the presence that has been shared in the chat column, because we only distribute certificates to participants who have filled out the attendance list. Further information can be accessed on our social media. On behalf of the community on duty, I apologize if there are many wrong words and actions. Thank you once again for your attention and participants in today's event. Don't forget to follow our social media account to see more upcoming events. Instagram account at tpb.ugm, Facebook or Twitter at tpbugm. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much
Waalaikumsalam
for the
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
participation.